Khalid, Chairperson, Department Political Science, University of Punjab, Lahore, to come on stage to share his thoughts on familiarizing the world with the great narrative of community with the shared future.
Thank you all, and specifically Dr. Asleem Mazhar. In your presence, it will be really a great honor to share my humble views. And then Colonel Khalid Saab and Dr. Fauzia, Dr. Mehboob Saab, and specifically my very dear students. And the topic is definitely very interesting, and I'll try my best to give a very simple explanation and simple narrative of this very interesting concept of community with shared future. Because normally when we talk about such kind of themes, some confusions definitely arises, and I have divided my today's talk. Firstly, I will try to explain the theme. Then I will try to answer or respond some very relevant and frequently asked questions regarding this theme. And then what is nowadays in literature regarding this concept, specifically the writings. I have divided into two categories: the Chinese material and the Western concept regarding this theme of community with shared future. And then what are the challenges to this Chinese effort introducing cooperation in the world? And then on the behalf of this workshop, I will try to give some suggestions regarding the challenges and the propaganda specifically against this concept of community with shared future. So firstly, what is basically this concept of community with shared future? This narrative can be traced back to the 18th National Congress of the Communist Party of China in 2012. And since then, this concept has been frequently, we can find it out in the literature, we can find it out in the media, and regarding some kinds of debate, some kind of dialogues regarding this concept. But the first introduction of this concept was basically done by the Chinese leadership, and that was basically to deal with the working together to have a new partnership on the basis of win-win and the cooperation, and to create a community of shared future for mankind. So when 2012 Chinese leadership introduced this concept, they introduced for the whole community, for the whole mankind, not for a specific group of states, not for the developed world, or not for with some specific objectives. But they introduced that now the world has come to the stage where we all have to ignore the hard realities and we have to move towards cooperation for the whole mankind. So after that initial introduction of this concept, some very specific objectives, they were highlighted by the Chinese literature, by time by the Chinese leadership. And the focus and the main objectives were discussed by the Chinese. They were basically that the correct functioning of institutional performance regarding keeping in mind the global governance, and all the decisions they will be made regarding the peace in the world, regarding the development for the whole community, equity, justice, and freedom for common values. So again, this concept of shared community is basically related to the respect for the common values, that Chinese don't have any problem with the identities. They don't have any objection regarding the ethnicities. They just want to do good for the human life and human values. So they respect, as their civilization, as their history speaks, that their major theme and their major crux is to respect mankind. So this theme, this narrative given by the Chinese leadership for the new world order, that is again dependent on the respect for the whole mankind. So what are the frequently asked and raised questions regarding this concept? Number one, that what is the content of community of shared future for mankind and how it helps the consolidation of a community? And number two question, that how does this new powerful China engage with the international society? Definitely, we are very much familiar with the state system, that those who become powerful, they normally have their own hegemonic designs. We have experienced wars, world wars, then Cold War, and then war on terror. So the mankind is experiencing many types of hot and cold wars. So then what is different in this narrative given by the Chinese leadership regarding the shared future of mankind? So this is the question, and you must keep in mind this question, because now I am trying to answer this question. And as the student of political science and international relations and from various social sciences, you have to live, you have to face the challenges of the coming days. So this narrative, this theme will be helping you a lot while discussing or while facing the new types of challenges and questions. Chinese strategy is that to have a common agreement that can be identified with the help of the cooperation, and the world is experiencing with the practical efforts by the Chinese government through, in this region, CPEC, in the world through Belt and Road Initiative, because the Chinese are trying to connect the whole world without realizing the thing that some countries are underdeveloped. They don't even have the resources to build such kind of projects. But they are trying to connect those states, those countries, those nations, those do not have resources. So this type of world order, I again want to say that this is for a common purpose, common good. This is not for the basic economic interests for a specific country or for a specific nation, that is China. So China is having their national interest, definitely all states have, and all have to protect their national interest. But the strategy, but the planning by the Chinese, that is, that if there may be cooperation, if there may be interdependence, then the chances of a war, the chances of a hot war, it may be lessened. So this is the new type of strategies, and nowadays we are trying to be familiarized with this strategy, with such type of efforts, as today we are going to discuss the details and some very important points regarding this. So another important thing, that what type of writings we are getting nowadays. There are two types of material available when you definitely today you all will try to find out yourself by answering or by getting information on this concept. So please don't be confused, because there are some writings, those are specifically designed by a specific kind of group of scholars. Those are giving the anti-argument regarding this concept, because they think that this is a new kind of agenda given by the Chinese, and the Chinese ultimately, when they will be a big or the superpower, then definitely they will try to mold this whole for their own purposes. And the second type of argument given by the other group of scholars, they are in the favor that no, Chinese who are investing in the developing world, definitely they will try to pursue some specific economic interest, but when there will be cooperation, and this shared future is dependent on the cooperation on the basis of economy and the respect to the human values. So when you try to introduce collaboration with the respect regarding the values, then definitely there will be lesser chances in the coming days for a larger conflict or for the issues in the next generation. So what type of challenges this shared community with shared future narrative is facing or can be faced? I believe as social scientist that when there is any kind of effort, then definitely some challenges arises, like the propaganda that the anti-Chinese forces, they are trying to give a negative image. They are trying to impose some kind of examples that what actually will happen when the states will not be able to return the loans, or what will be happen when they will come under the influence of China. So there is a need that there must be a rational approach while understanding this type of efforts, and for that purpose there must be as the friends of China and as the scholars, we must try to produce such type of literature that can facilitate the rational approach to understand this theme and this narrative for the benefits of our own state as well, specifically for the youth of Pakistan and Pakistani students specifically. There must be a debate and dialogue, open debate and dialogue regarding this development, because when we try to initiate debate, then definitely some questions arises, some confusions can be sought out, and then there must be a very solid effort regarding that to counter fake news. There are at every part of the world the fake news regarding this theme, regarding the development of this whole effort by the Chinese to promote harmony and peace on the basis of cooperation. There are designed and planned fake news. So there must be a check and balance regarding this specific issue. And then there must be a strong effort by our research centers and institutes regarding the perception building. Because we all know and we all believe, and as I am seeing my students, that China is our biggest and trustworthy friend. No doubt. But in the modern days, when social media is so much active, there must be a new planning and new strategies regarding the perception building to clear the confusions created not only by our enemies, but specifically those powers, those are anti-cooperation and those are anti-China. So there must be a solid effort by the Pakistani scholars and Pakistani researchers to counter and to promote this vision of Chinese leadership regarding the shared future of mankind. Thank you.